Did you know we live in a world of self-driving cars, AI breakthroughs, and space tourism? But while the rich chase the future, millions of poor people are still trapped in jobs that feel like they're from another century. In Indonesia, men climb into active volcanoes, breathing toxic gas to haul sulfur for just $10 a day. And in Morocco, tanners work barefoot in vats of chemicals so dangerous they risk cancer just to make enough for a meal. Why do they risk their lives for such low-income jobs? Well, I'm about to answer that as we reveal 8 shocking jobs poor people still do in 2025. This is the hidden side of progress, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Cycle rickshaw, the job that refuses to die. First on our list, we are traveling to India, a nation of gleaming smart cities and high-tech ambition. But in the shadows of this progress, a job exists the technology hasn't erased, and the reason why is shocking. This is the world of the cycle rickshaw driver. His day begins before sunrise, pedaling a rickety vehicle he often doesn't even own. The physical toll is brutal. He pushes over 200 kilograms through choking pollution and heat waves, soaring past 45 degrees Celsius. For this, he might earn 300 to 400 rupees on a good day, but that income is never guaranteed. A trip to the doctor is a luxury he can't afford, as it means losing an entire day's wage. This job survives not because of tradition, but due to a harsh economic trap. Most drivers rent their rickshaws, and the daily fee consumes their earnings, locking them into a cycle of debt. Many are unskilled migrants from rural areas, and pulling a rickshaw is the only job they can get. While e-rickshaws seem like the solution, the upfront cost is a fortune for someone who struggles to afford their next meal, keeping that future out of reach. The most shocking reason this job survives is that in many ways the modern city still depends on it. In the ancient tangled lanes of Old Delhi and crowded markets, cycle rickshaws are often the only vehicles that can squeeze through, providing a vital, cheap last-mile service that modernization can't replace. The painful irony is that these drivers are looked down on, yet they support a system that quietly relies on them. Honey hunters, climbing for survival. In a world of automation, who would hang from a rope ladder 300 feet up a cliff, fighting the world's largest honeybees? For men in Nepal, it's not just about honey, it's about survival. Deep in the Himalayas, the Gurung people continue an ancient tradition, harvesting wild honey from giant honeybees. This isn't ordinary honey. Nectar from certain flowers gives it psychoactive properties, creating mad honey. It's a sacred substance, and the lifeblood of their community. Preparation is physical and spiritual. They use handmade bamboo ladders and ropes, but first perform a sacred ceremony, praying to forest spirits for protection. It's a profound act of respect for the danger ahead. Reaching the hives is an ordeal. Hunters trek for days through brutal terrain. This journey of endurance, across steep forests and thinning air, weeds out all but the most dedicated. Next comes an incredible display of courage. The ordeal begins as the lead hunter descends a rope ladder, hundreds of feet in the air. Smoke from a fire below calms the bees, but it's not enough. He is engulfed by a swarm of giant bees. With almost no protection, he endures stings, using a long pole to cut the honeycomb from the rock. One slip on that bamboo ladder could be fatal. He succeeds, and the reward is immense. Huge pieces of honeycomb are lowered in a basket. This honey is their medicine, food, and income. On the ground, the hunters' faces show both exhaustion and victory. Back in the village, the honey is shared, strengthening community bonds. This job exists because it is their cultural identity. The Zabbaleen, Cairo trash transformers. This isn't a landfill, it's a city, and the people here are running a recycling empire that puts global corporations to shame. In the heart of modern Cairo, the community known as the Zabbaleen literally lives and breathes garbage. This is Manshiat Niza, or Garbage City. Long before dawn, the men of the Zabbaleen community head out as Cairo's unofficial yet essential waste collectors, gathering trash from millions of people. But the trash doesn't get dumped, it comes home. Entire families, with a kind of practiced genius, sort mountains of waste, plastic, metal, glass, and paper. Every single piece is separated by hand. Organic waste feeds their pigs, a critical part of the system. Everything else is cleaned, processed, and turned into valuable resources sold back to factories. Most modern cities are proud to recycle 25% of their waste, but the Zabbaleen recycle a staggering 85%. Their secret isn't advanced technology, it's that their income comes directly from selling what they recycle. The more they save from the landfill, the more they earn. This powerful model proved so successful that when the government brought in corporations to modernize, they failed, and the city had to ask the Zabbaleen to return. Yet life here is incredibly tough. The work is backbreaking and comes with serious health risks. For generations, the Zabbaleen have been stigmatized and pushed to the margins of society, facing threats of eviction and devastating policies like the 2009 pig cull, which nearly destroyed their organic waste system overnight. And yet they're still here. Mountain porters, the unsung heroes of the peaks. At 13,000 feet in the Peruvian Andes, just breathing is a challenge. For the Andes mountain porters, carrying gear up these paths is just another day at work. They're the backbone of the Inca Trail, but this ancient way of life is at a crossroads. New laws in 2025 are changing this profession forever, and I'm here to see what that future looks like. A porter's day begins long before sunrise. While hikers sleep, they're already packing camp and hoisting heavy loads of tents and gear. They move with incredible speed, often outpacing us to set up the next campsite hours before we arrive. They aren't just carriers, they're guides, cooks, and the support system on the trail. Their endurance has to be seen to be believed. Many are farmers from small Andean communities who leave their families to earn a living. They see themselves as modern-day chasqui, the legendary messengers of the Inca Empire. This work is a direct link to their ancestors' strength and a way to share their culture. For decades, their pride has been met with exploitation. But 2025 marks a revolution with Peru's porter's law, which has doubled wages. The maximum weight a porter can carry is now strictly enforced at 20 kilograms. The law also mandates fair hours and rest days and requires companies to provide proper meals, gear, and health insurance. But a law on paper isn't always reality. While many companies comply, some find loopholes. To avoid fines for overweight packs, some operators restrict a porter's personal gear, forcing them to leave behind warm clothing. Sulfur mining, life on the edge of a volcano. You'd expect an AI world to replace these jobs, but you'd be wrong. Men climb into an active volcano to earn a living, surrounded by toxic gas and a lake of fuming acid. They haul back-breaking loads, often more than their own body weight, for as little as $10 a day. This is the life of sulfur miners at Kawah Ijen. Their day starts with a dangerous hike to the Ijen crater in East Java, Indonesia. There they see a surreal electric blue fire. This isn't lava, but sulfuric gas burning as it escapes the earth. The sight draws tourists, but for miners, it's the backdrop to one of Earth's most dangerous workplaces. Their office is a crater beside the world's largest acidic lake, a cauldron of turquoise water, so corrosive it eats through metal. Inside, the air is lethal. The volcano spews toxic gas at 40 times safe limits. For protection, most use only a damp cloth over their mouths. Gas masks are a luxury that slows them down, and slowing down means earning less. Using iron rods, they hack solidified sulfur, nicknamed Devil's Gold. Constant exposure to fumes destroys their bodies, causing burning eyes, lung damage, and rotting teeth. Many don't live past 50, leaving their children orphaned. Once enough sulfur is broken, the hardest work begins. They load chunks into baskets, each weighing 150 to 200 pounds. Then they heave this weight onto their shoulders, climb hundreds of feet out of the crater, and hike 3 kilometers down the mountain. Most make this journey twice daily. In this part of Indonesia, other jobs pay little. A farmer might earn $4 a day, while the volcano offers double or triple that. These men risk their lives to send their children to school, hoping to give them a future far from the volcano's toxic embrace. Wood charcoal sellers, breathing smoke to survive. We imagine progress as a clean green future for everyone. But deep in Cameroon, the energy that cooks the nation's food doesn't come from a switch on the wall, it comes from black charcoal. This is the story of a shocking job that has survived into the modern age, a brutal trade feeding thousands of families while costing the earth. In Cameroon, a gas stove is a luxury. Life is cooked over charcoal, with wood as the main energy source for 80% of the population. This relentless demand has created a massive informal economy supporting an estimated 90,000 people. But this ancient trade comes at a staggering cost, not just to the environment, but to the people making it. For them, it's a dangerous reality. The work starts deep in the forest, where men fell trees with little more than an axe. The wood is hauled to a clearing, stacked into piles, covered with green leaves, and sealed with dirt to create an earth-mound kiln. Then, it's lit. For days the wood smolders, releasing clouds of thick, choking smoke. Workers breathe a toxic mix of carbon monoxide and pollutants linked to respiratory disease, heart damage, and cancer. Burns and cuts are part of the job. When it's done, they break open the kiln to harvest the charcoal, their bodies caked in dust. The human cost is tangled with the environmental one. The thirst for charcoal drives deforestation, destroying over 12,000 hectares of the Congo Basin ecosystem every year. These old kilns also release massive greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, fueling climate change. Tannery workers, standing barefoot in poison. In Morocco, tanners carry on an ancient craft, but its survival comes at a staggering cost: deadly toxins. This is the story of the tanneries of Fez and the dangers they face to keep their art alive. In Fez's old Medina lies the Chouara Tannery, a living museum dating back to the 11th century. Here, artisans manually turn raw animal hides into world-famous Moroccan leather. Hides are soaked in vats with water, lime, and pigeon droppings. The ammonia softens the skin. They're then dyed with natural pigments like poppy and saffron, in a process unchanged for centuries. But behind the vibrant colors is a darker reality. Men work barefoot, thigh-deep for hours in caustic vats. Modern pressures have introduced toxic chemicals like chromium salts, a known carcinogen causing high rates of illness and cancer. The process also pollutes the local river, creating a wider public health crisis. For most workers, it's not a choice but an inheritance passed from father to son. It's a source of pride, but the pay is brutally low, around $250 a month. This economic pressure binds them to a profession that is both a celebrated art and a severe health hazard. The Chouara Tannery is a symbol of resilience, but something must change. Small steps are being taken, like providing boots, but progress is slow. This creates a painful dilemma. Introducing safer technology risks the very authenticity that makes the tanneries famous. How do we honor the past without sacrificing the health of its guardians? Floating vendors. Life on a sinking edge. In the river-laced landscapes of southern Bangladesh, there's a profession that feels like it's been pulled from a history book, a job that on the surface shouldn't exist in 2025. On the vast river systems of Rickshaw, these waters have become a green money garden, offering the poorest a lifeline and a place to anchor their hopes. For vendors like Rahman, the river is both his highway and his office. He's been doing this for 20 years, a trade passed down from his father. His shop is a simple wooden canoe. He sources produce from one of the most ingenious agricultural systems on Earth, floating gardens. Known locally as DAP, these are man-made rafts of water hyacinth and bamboo that rise and fall with the floods. This ancient, soil-less farming technique is Bangladesh's answer to a climate crisis threatening to swallow its farmland. By sunrise, the floating market is a flurry of motion. Hundreds of boats, piled high with gourds, spinach, and other goods, jostle for space. This isn't just a place to buy vegetables, it's a complex economy on water. Rahman's day is a marathon under a blistering sun for an income that's both small and uncertain. He works in the informal economy, with no license and no social security. To the authorities, he's technically an illegal hawker. Yet for local communities, he provides an essential service: fresh, affordable food. What you're witnessing is a masterclass in adaptation. These floating markets are a direct response to the geography of Bangladesh, a low-lying delta where massive floods are a yearly event. Traditional farming is a gamble, but this system thrives in water.